The sling, ancient precision, timeless impact. So you think of lethal weapons and your mind probably jumps to massive cannons or guided missiles, right? But hold your horses. Let's rewind way back, and I mean way back, to a weapon that for centuries was an absolute king, the sling. This seemingly simple device, a mere pouch with 2 cords, required incredible discipline and perseverance to master. Ancient warriors with their fierce mindset understood its value on the battlefield, transforming a basic tool into an instrument of profound impact. It truly redefined tactics for millennia. Can you imagine the hours of practice it took to achieve that kind of accuracy? It wasn't just about flinging rocks, it was about understanding physics, wind, and the human target. A true challenge that forged unwavering determination. The courage to stand against a charging foe, armed with just a sling, speaks volumes about the heroism of those ancient combatants. Their resilience in the face of incredible odds, often against heavily armed adversaries, is a testament to the human spirit. What's often overlooked is the sheer strategy involved in its deployment. Commanders wouldn't just send slingers blindly into battle. They'd use them to harass, disrupt formations, and even take down leaders from a distance. Think about David and Goliath, a classic example of how clever tactics and unwavering faith and a really good sling could overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. That story, truly, is a powerful lesson in discovery and the surprising places you can find opportunity. The sling taught ancient armies about precision and range, pushing them to develop new formations and defensive strategies. It wasn't about brute force. It was about cleverness and exploiting weaknesses. This simple weapon truly left an undeniable legacy of innovation and forced warriors to constantly evolve their mindset. It's a prime example of how a seemingly small element can bring about massive transformation. And here's a little tidbit for you. Roman legionaries, for all their impressive armor and swords, often carried slings as auxiliary weapons. Why? Because they understood its practical value in various situations, from skirmishes to siege warfare. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective tools aren't the flashiest, but those that embody a deep understanding of basic principles and have been honed with tireless perseverance. This leads us beautifully into our next topic, as the need for more specialized ranged attacks became apparent. NATO versus BRICS. Is a new world war brewing? All right, my friend, let's tackle a truly pressing question that's on a lot of people's minds these days. Is the world really on the brink of another global conflict, especially with the rising tensions between established blocs like NATO and emerging powers like BRICS? This isn't just a hypothetical. It's a real challenge that demands our attention, forcing us to consider the immense impact of geopolitical shifts. It's about understanding the current global strategy at play. Now, on one side, you've got NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This isn't just a military alliance, it's a political one, forged in the aftermath of World War II with a core vision of collective defense and promoting stability. Its legacy is one of incredible resilience during the Cold War, and its members share a common mindset rooted in democratic values and mutual protection. It truly represents a powerful example of leadership through sustained discipline. Then you have BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and now expanding to include even more nations. This isn't a military alliance like NATO. It's an economic and political bloc, formed on the principle of promoting multipolarity in the world order. Their determination to have a greater say on the global stage is undeniable, driven by the desire for growth and a rebalancing of global power. It represents a significant transformation in the international system, creating new opportunity. So, when we talk about war brewing, it's easy to get caught up in sensational headlines. But remember, the leaders in these blocs aren't naive. They're well aware of the catastrophic impact a direct conflict between nuclear-armed powers would entail. The sacrifice and sheer devastation of a modern world war, especially given the lethality of contemporary weapons, are unthinkable. This understanding forces a unique kind of strategy and perseverance in diplomacy. The real battle, if you will, is often in the economic and diplomatic arenas. It's about influence, trade routes, and securing resources. Both NATO and BRICS nations are engaging in complex tactics to bolster their own positions, from forming new partnerships to technological competition. This requires constant adaptability and a deep understanding of global secrets and motivations. It's a high-stakes game of discovery and strategic positioning. So, while the headlines might sound alarming, the situation is far more nuanced. It's less about immediate large-scale military confrontation and more about a strategic jostling for global value and leadership. The courage here isn't just on a battlefield. It's in the diplomatic halls, making decisions that could shape the future of humanity. This continuous struggle for influence leads us to our next point: the historical parallels and lessons we can draw from past great power rivalries. How does that sound as an opener for NATO versus BRICS? Are we hitting the right notes? Or would you like to make any adjustments before we move on? Echoes of the past. Learning from great power rivalries. So, is this whole NATO versus BRICS situation truly unprecedented? Not entirely, actually. History is just full of great power rivalries, each with its own set of challenges and intricate tactics. Think about the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union. Two massive blocs with clashing ideologies, locked in a fierce determination to outmaneuver each other. They both understood the immense sacrifice a direct conflict would entail, leading to a strange kind of discipline in avoiding direct military confrontation. The lessons from those eras are incredibly valuable for understanding today's world. During the Cold War, for instance, both sides developed incredible resilience and a strategic mindset that prioritized proxy conflicts and technological races over direct engagement. It was a constant game of chess, demanding unparalleled perseverance from leadership to navigate crises without triggering a global catastrophe. It truly was a period of intense discovery in the art of deterrence. Consider the Cuban Missile Crisis, a moment where the world stood on the brink. The courage and calm decision-making of leaders on both sides, coupled with back-channel negotiations, ultimately pulled humanity back from the precipice. That specific instance is a masterclass in crisis management and highlights the immense impact of restraint. It's a powerful reminder that even in the most dire circumstances, there's always an opportunity for diplomatic solutions, requiring incredible vision. What we can learn from these past rivalries is the critical importance of communication, even between adversaries. Developing mechanisms for de-escalation, establishing clear red lines, and maintaining diplomatic channels are not signs of weakness. They're vital practical strategies for preventing miscalculation and accidental conflict. This isn't about avoiding challenge, it's about facing it with a mindset geared toward intelligent prevention rather than reckless escalation. And here's a little secret about history. The most successful leaders in these high-stakes rivalries often possessed a profound understanding of their opponent's motivations and fears, not just their military capabilities. This deep transformation in perspective, from viewing the enemy as purely evil to understanding their strategic goals, is key. It allows for the kind of adaptability and nuanced tactics that can prevent full-blown war. This historical perspective, I believe, really sheds light on the nature of these modern geopolitical alignments, leading us to consider the underlying motivations. How's that for linking the past to the present? Are we good to move on? Or would you like to refine anything before we look at the core motivations behind these blocks? Understanding the core motivations. What drives these blocks? Alright, so if we're going to truly grasp the dynamics between NATO and BRICS, we gotta look beyond the headlines and dive into their fundamental motivations. It's not just about military might or economic clout. It's about what truly fuels their existence and shapes their decisions. Understanding these drivers is key to seeing the broader global strategy at play and anticipating future challenges. For NATO, the core motivation remains collective security and the preservation of a rules-based international order, largely shaped after World War II. It's rooted in a shared mindset of democratic principles and the value of alliances as a deterrent. The legacy of an attack on one is an attack on all isn't just a slogan. It's the bedrock of their discipline and the source of their enduring resilience. Their vision is to maintain stability through strength, which requires constant adaptability to new threats. BRICS, on the other hand, is driven by a powerful desire for a more multipolar world. Their motivation stems from a belief that the global system, heavily influenced by Western powers, needs rebalancing to better reflect the growth and opportunity of emerging economies. It's a determination to have a louder voice and a greater impact on international governance. This bloc's strategy is more about economic cooperation and political influence than military alignment, seeking to foster a new global humanity through shared development. Think about China's Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project that's a prime example of BRICS' economic tactics and long-term vision. It's not about immediate military confrontation, but about building deep economic ties and expanding influence. This requires immense perseverance and a strategic mindset focused on long-term transformation. For them, victory isn't always about winning a battle, but about shaping the future economic landscape. So while their approaches and structures differ, both blocs are acting on what they perceive as their own value and their role in the world. NATO sees itself as upholding a proven order, while BRICS sees itself as forging a new, more equitable one. This fundamental difference in vision is where much of the tension arises, creating a complex interplay of challenge and opportunity. It's a continuous discovery of how to navigate these divergent paths without direct conflict. And here's a little secret about geopolitics. The lines between economic, political, and military power are incredibly blurry. A strong economy can fund a strong military, and political alliances can bolster both. The courage and heroism in this arena often come in the form of diplomatic steadfastness and making difficult decisions under immense pressure. Understanding these core motivations is crucial as we move to our next point, examining the specific flashpoints and potential points of friction. How does that sound? Are we on the right track with the motivations, or would you like to refine anything before we look at the potential flashpoints? Potential flashpoints. Where tensions could escalate. All right, so if we understand why these blocks exist and what drives them, the next logical step is figuring out where things could get dicey. These aren't just abstract concepts. These are real places and real issues where the strategy of one side directly confronts the interests of another, creating a palpable challenge to global stability. Identifying these flashpoints is a key part of foresight and preventing unintended impact. One major area, of course, is Eastern Europe, particularly with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. This is where NATO's core legacy of collective defense is directly tested against Russia's determination to secure its perceived sphere of influence. The ongoing proxy conflict showcases the immense sacrifice and humanity involved, and how local conflicts can easily become arenas for broader geopolitical tactics. It's a constant test of adaptability and perseverance for all involved. Another significant flashpoint is the South China Sea. Here, China's growing military power and territorial claims directly challenge the vision of free navigation, a value championed by many NATO members, particularly the US. The economic opportunity and strategic importance of these waters make it a hotbed for maritime tactics and displays of force. This is where the competition for influence and resources is on full display, requiring incredibly careful decision-making to avoid miscalculation. Beyond geography, technological supremacy is a massive challenge that could become a flashpoint. The race for dominance in AI, cybersecurity, and advanced weaponry is a quiet but intense struggle. Both blocs understand that future victory might not be won on a traditional battlefield, but in the digital realm or through technological breakthroughs. This demands constant growth, discipline, and a forward-thinking mindset from national leadership. It's a new kind of discovery, full of secrets and immense impact. Then there's the economic competition and resource scarcity. As populations grow and demand for energy, water, and rare earth minerals increases, the scramble for these vital resources could easily become a source of profound tension. Countries might resort to aggressive tactics or try to leverage their economic power to secure what they need. This pushes the boundaries of diplomatic resilience and requires innovative strategy to avoid direct conflict over dwindling supplies. And here's a little secret. Sometimes, the most dangerous flashpoints aren't the obvious ones. A miscalculation, a minor incident that spirals out of control, or even a domestic crisis in one nation could unexpectedly draw in others. That's why understanding the underlying motivations and maintaining open lines of communication, however strained, is paramount. The courage to de-escalate even when provoked is the truest form of heroism in this high-stakes global game. This brings us to the crucial question: what are the pathways to either peace or conflict? How does that sound for the potential flashpoints? Are we pinpointing the key areas effectively, or would you like to make any adjustments before we discuss the pathways forward? Pathways to peace or conflict. The road ahead. So, with all these tensions and potential flashpoints, it's natural to wonder if a new world war is simply unavoidable. But my friend, that's where the real challenge lies. Charting a course away from catastrophe. It's not a foregone conclusion. The decisions made by leaders, the mindset they adopt, and the tactics they employ in diplomacy will determine the future. It truly demands a unique blend of courage and careful calculation. One crucial pathway to peace lies in robust and continuous diplomacy. Even when relations are strained, maintaining open channels of communication, both formal and informal, is absolutely vital. Think of the hotline established between Washington and Moscow during the Cold War, a simple but profound discovery that could prevent miscalculation. This kind of discipline in dialogue, even in the face of deep disagreements, fosters perseverance in de-escalation and builds a fragile sense of trust between adversaries, mitigating potential impact. Another pathway is mutual economic interdependence. While it can be a source of tension, deeply intertwined economies also create a powerful disincentive for large-scale conflict. The immense sacrifice required to unravel global supply chains and sever economic ties would be catastrophic for all involved. This shared value in prosperity can often outweigh aggressive tactics, promoting a collective growth and a shared opportunity for humanity through cooperation, even if grudgingly. However, the pathway to conflict often emerges from miscalculation or an erosion of established norms. The pursuit of perceived victory at any cost, a lack of adaptability to changing circumstances, or a failure of leadership to understand an opponent's true intentions can quickly escalate a regional challenge into a broader confrontation. This is where historical lessons become incredibly important, teaching us about the dangers of hubris and unchecked determination. So what's the secret here? It's about recognizing that the future isn't written in stone. It's a constant dynamic interplay between power, strategy, and human decision-making. The ability to anticipate risks, to show resilience under pressure, and to prioritize long-term stability over short-term gains will be key. The transformation we truly need is a global mindset that prioritizes collaboration and de-escalation, even as nations compete, ultimately aiming for a shared legacy of peace. How does that sound for the pathways to peace or conflict? Are we hitting the right balance, or would you like to make any adjustments before we look at the ultimate conclusion for the reader?